Okay, so today, just real quickly, just going to review a couple of things about amendments and special Stips. Okay, so what is the qualifying broker, Dwayne Amos? Can you hear him in your head right now saying, "Do we ever draft our own special Stips?" No. For the most part, absolutely not. We don't recommend that you do so. There are too many pre-written special Stips. And the way I always say this to my client base, and I'll say the same thing to you, is there are smarter people than you and I that have gone through and blazed these trails for us before. All we have to do is access that information, tweak it to our purposes, regurgitate it on a page, and you're protecting your client and you're protecting yourself in that process. So we're going to talk about kind of rules of thumb with regards to using those, and then what to do if you can't find something that is truly worthwhile to be able to actually suit your purposes. So we are not lawyers. We're not qualified to draft the legal language within a contract. So we always want to take on a partner, but the first partner we should take is the systems itself. So make every attempt to find a pre-written special stip or an amendment from within the GAR system. And the best way to do that there are two documents that you may or may not know exist, but they're there. And every year at the beginning of the year when we do the GAR contract document changes, I typically will pull these two up, download them, print them, and I literally put them somewhere on my desktop. So if you go to my office right now, you'll probably find it's one of the things hanging on my cube wall right there because you reference it all the time. There are two. There's a special stipulations index, which is 3 pages, and all it is the title of the amendment and what it does for you. And then there's the actual special stipulations, which is 12 pages long, and it has the actual no kidding language within it. Okay, so those are there. You can also access them from within the document that you're in Docs Plus, and I'll show you a little bit about how to do that. Okay, so this is the Special Stips Index, and it literally tells you what the special stip number is and the topic. And they're grouped by different categories. There's ones for agency, agriculture, disclosures, property condition, you name it, they're there. I will actually, what's that?
Got to get that timber sale agreement.
Yeah, the timber sale. So
yeah.
Yeah. So here's the index. It has everything from contingencies to agency, agriculture, due diligence, and inspection. I can almost guarantee you that you can, in some way, shape, or form, find something close to what you need, and then you can wordsmith it, adjust it a little bit to fit your purposes. But it's always good to start from somewhere, okay, as opposed to starting from scratch. Anybody know these existed?
Yes.
Glad you do. So here's the actual, no kidding, special Stips with the sections that you can actually fill in. The one that I, there's several that I use quite often. 703, where is it?
Skips it.
Wait a minute, I might be remembering wrong. It might be 730, hang on. There it is. Seller's property disclosure or not attached contingency. So if they didn't have the seller's property disclosure or the community association disclosure, I'll give you a perfect example. The house is 2, there's not a special stip for community association disclosure not present, but there is one for the seller's property disclosure. So this is a great example of where you can actually pull this up and it says the seller's property disclosure is not attached here too. You can actually stop right there, disclosure statement, comma, and community association disclosure are not present. Then you've covered all of your bases, but it's a perfect example of how you can modify something that is pre-written so that it serves your purposes, but you don't have to draft it from scratch. Questions? Okay, so then there's the agency, the actual special steps that I showed you before. And again, this came in way too small, but when you're actually within Docs Plus, if you go and you pull up special steps, or if you're just looking for anything on termites, there's probably half a dozen different special steps or pre-written amendments or some language that you can use in an amendment or a special step dealing with termites. The little you can't see it in this slide, but the little the magnifying glass that's up there, that's the search field. You type in the word termite, and everything that you need is likely to come up there, and then you just pick the best one.
Can you just recap how to find it in Remind, please?
Sure. See, the only problem is I'm going to have to log into to FMLS. Hang on a second.
You're talking about the stip by itself or how to put it in a contract? How to look at those two documents in Remind. You just go to forms, all forms, and type in special steps, I'm guessing?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's something like that.
Yep. I might not. Well, wait a minute. I don't have my I can't do it on this computer. See me after, I'll show you exactly how, okay? All right, so within the body, if you do have to write your own special step, if you can't find something that can work for you, then there are a few guidelines that you need to follow. And it's the who, what, where, when, why, how, and then there's some additional stuff that we're going to talk about here in a second. So state what is the problem that you're trying to fix with the special step, why it is a problem. That's primarily for things like the amendment to address concerns. The HVAC system is dated and was not functioning properly.
I like to copy, like if the inspector wrote a blurb of what the problem is, I'll literally copy and paste what the inspector said.
Couldn't agree with you more.
First line of it.
Yep, couldn't agree with you more. You copy and paste the first line, but then you change the language from, they always write it in a very,
Non-contiguous way.
yeah, non-contiguous way, recommend seller do, you're going to recommend buyer have this investigated or whatever. You need to change that language from recommend to seller will or seller shall, something along those lines. Yep. So you state what is the problem, why it is a problem, what specifically is being requested, or what is the goal or objective of whatever it is that you happen to be writing. Seller will repair, replace. Who is supposed to do whatever it is that you are stating you're asking to be done? Is it seller will, buyer shall? Is it licensed or qualified technician? You got to state the who. Questions on that? Okay. If you're asking for something to be done, completed to what standard? Okay, matching paint color or consistent with elsewhere in the home. When you're writing an amendment to address concerns, if you're asking for the right garage door to be replaced, the last thing you want is for the right garage door to be brand new and white and the other one is brown. And they're going to go, oh, you didn't specify what color. Did we replace the garage door? Yes, we did. Check. Thank you very much. Okay. When it is to be completed, so that is oftentimes covered either directly right there in that bullet, or it might be covered with your opening statement to an amendment to address concerns. It says all repairs to be completed within 3 days of the closing date and invoice supplied to verify that it's been completed. Okay, and that brings you to the next one. Verified in what way? Sorry, go ahead.
There is one thing that should be on that list of what makes a good step. You should always number your stipulations.
That's a good point. Thank you.
If you don't, and the stipulation has to be augmented later, then you're going to have a hard time identifying it in the next amendment.
Yeah.
You're going to be like, well, this thing
It's a good point. Always label them 1, 2, 3. That makes the negotiation process a little bit easier, because then you can say, we'll do 1 and 2, but we're not touching 3 with a 10-foot pole. Or 3, we want to modify to X, Y, and Z instead of the one about the garage door. Okay? Makes it a lot easier to communicate as you're dealing with your clients. So verified in what way? And the most important one on here, and this is the one that we as agents miss out on the most, by far, is what is the recourse to either party if whatever is being requested is not done? And that is the one that I believe it or not, it's probably the most important, but it's also the one that we miss the most. And I'll give you a perfect example. This is the one, actually the 730 that I talked to you about before, and it talks about the seller's property disclosure and community association disclosure not being included. And it includes that little highlighted section down there, which is impossible for you to read, so I'll read it. The seller agrees that should the buyer determine that for any reason the property is unacceptable to the buyer within X number of days of the buyer's receipt of the seller's property disclosure, then buyer may terminate this agreement. Kind of important, right? So, but it is by far the thing that is missed the most, okay? I've seen stuff as silly as an amendment to address concerns that says, see inspection report. Think about that. See the inspection report. I'm sure in their mind, that agent actually wanted us to do all the things in the inspection report. But did she say that? No, she said, see the inspection report. Okay, we saw it. Thank you.
If, personal note, if I see that come on one of my listings, I take it as a blessing because it means I'm working with an agent that I'm doing them all.
Yes, exactly. You have a strategic advantage over such a ill-prepared, ill-trained agent in that type of scenario, because you're getting this and many other things like it. All right? Also, just a reminder, and this is coming straight from help desk and compliance, just as a reminder, no blanks on any field within any contract document. If it's got that little line in there where you're supposed to fill something in, you should absolutely fill it in. Because at some point, someone, version control, could go in there and write you down, sign you up for something that you didn't know about, okay? Especially things like contingency dates. We're seeing contracts now that are leaving the appraisal contingency or financing contingency blank instead of putting 0. Okay, we should put 0. We should also put none or NA in anything that doesn't apply. Material relationships. Okay, if there is something that is unfair, you want your original binding contract to say none, because the last thing you want is somebody at some point to come in and write, oh yeah, by the way, the seller is a licensed agent, or the seller is related to a buyer or something like that, and not have that disclosed initially in the process. And if you left that blank, it could be done. Okay? What questions do you have? That's all I got for you. Quick and dirty today. Just a reminder of some things that we should already know, but reinforcement and resources to be able to go and pull those. But to your question about where do you find them, literally as you're in the field, a blank field like the special Stips page of a purchase and sale agreement, you can literally go there, click on it, add clause, go to the GAR clauses. They're all literally listed right there, and that's where you can use the search bar for something like termite or whatever the issue is that you're looking for, and it'll pull them up, and you click the one that you want, import it. It's there for you to draft and tweak it.
So I think your 3 sources are what? GAR, MLS, and brokerage or something like that?
Yeah, GAR. There's GAR. There's RE forms, which we would never want to use any type of RE special stip for the same reason we don't use RE forms as agents that are members of a board. We would rather use the GAR forms and FMLS. and Century 21 specific ones, which we've got a pretty good bank of those. All right. Thanks, everybody. Have a great day.